What is the foundation your life is built upon? What things do you rely on? Would that be in a relationship, in work, idols in your life? What do you rely on for happiness, love, contentment? Because oftentimes we build our foundation of our lives upon brittle foundations like sand. Because Jesus says in Matthew chapter 7 verses 24 to 27, wise and foolish builders. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. Rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. This can be when we put our faith in things that are not Jesus, things that are not eternal. For example, your faith in a football team all the time, and all your hopes and dreams, desires, your happiness for a day out in a football team, depending if they win or not. But football players, no matter how much they are paid, they are human beings. They have good and bad days. And as an Everton fan, as you can see in the background here, I learned to stop putting my happiness in other people's hands, depending on how a team plays, or if whether the team players succeed. They're not guaranteed to win. So already that is a brittle foundation, because a football team is never guaranteed to win. That's a foundation that will crumble. Another example of a foundation built on the sand, relationship. Do you put all your happiness in your significant other, depending on them and relying on them for everything? But what happens if that relationship ends, or God forbid something happens where a person loses their life? Because it doesn't matter if we're young or not, life isn't guaranteed for anyone. It could be over like that before we know it. So even though relationships are important, you shouldn't rely on someone completely 100%. As no one completes anyone, you complete yourself. It's called partnership for a reason. Otherwise you would be relying on someone like an idol, using them in place of God, which is far too much pressure to put on any human being that only God can handle. Another brittle foundation, addictions, whether it be vaping, smoking, weed, or even your phone, using those things as a crutch. I've learnt this is another brittle foundation built on sand, because it will either kill you or put you in debt. Immediately that foundation crumbles. Point of this video is we often build foundations in multiple aspects of our life on a weak foundation. Or another example of a brittle foundation, rushing into a relationship, having a baby with someone if you're not married, which could cause a breakup. And we don't build our foundations on a strong surface, and that strong surface is Jesus Christ. And by building our foundation on him, it's by following his word, taking a step back and allowing God to be God of our lives. And building that foundation is telling God we'll do things his way, not our way. Because oftentimes our way leads to pain, uncertainty, and frustration. And of course, building your foundation upon the rock of Jesus Christ doesn't mean you're going to have a life that is smooth sailing. The crashing waves and the winds will come, but it will not destroy you. It will challenge, but it will never destroy us. I'm going to ask everyone here, what foundations do you build all aspects of your life upon right now? And are they destined to last, or are they fleeting? And can you readjust and build all your foundations upon the rock of Jesus Christ instead, where you know that that foundation will not collapse?